Hello everyone. Welcome to School After Hours podcast, where we talk about all things related to out of school time programming and education. I am your host, Jay Lee, and for today on our Spotlight series, we are going to be visiting St. James Children's Center. Yes, we are going to be visiting one of the best early education sites in the Richmond area. So join us as we take a tour of the building, interview some staff, and get their perspective on what makes St. James such an awesome place, a special place to work, and see how they use social emotional learning and play to develop students and address their needs. If you want to see more content like this, do me a favor. Go ahead and hit that like button, but also consider subscribing to our channel so you can see our new interviews with program providers and community leaders that are impacting youth development, but also education at the same time.
Hello, good morning. Welcome to St. James Children's Center. I'm Bridget Lately, the program manager. Come on in. Thank you so much for choosing St. James Children's Center to be a part of your child's education and child care. I'm super excited that you chose us to partner with you. I'm super excited to share with you some of the ins and outs that we have, just to get a glimpse of our typical day from our students as well. Just to give you a little background of St. James Children's Center, we do offer childcare to metropolitan part of Richmond, Virginia. We like to offer care to families, working families, families that may not be able to afford it, and even families and students that may have disabilities. We offer accommodations to those families that may need it and resources. We do offer care for students 2 to 5 years of age. We do teach our kids based off the creative curriculum, which is learning through play as well. Our teachers are phenomenal. Most of our teachers have been in early childhood education for 10 years. We have some that have degrees as well. We are constantly learning just with our kids, lots of trainings as well. So I would like for you guys just to take a glimpse of our school and see what we do on an everyday basis.
Hi, my name is Diane Whittington, and I'm the Executive Director of St. James's Children's Center. St. James's Children's Center started a little over 30 years ago. It was started by a parishioner named John Conrad and a special education teacher for the city of Richmond, Geraldine Johnson. Mr. Conrad was looking for and could not find really quality care for his severely disabled son, and so he went to who was at that time the rector, Randy Hollerith, and they decided, hey, it doesn't exist, so let's create it. He recruited Geraldine. Geraldine put all of her heart and soul into this place, and it has helped, I mean, the city of Richmond, so many families in the city of Richmond. Her love and support it's just been something that even now you'll have families that will remind you that they started, back when Geraldine was here. But they created this environment for children who could not otherwise afford quality care, whose mental or physical abilities limited their access to other centers in the area. So they created what they needed for that time, and it's just blossomed into something that has been magical, that we've been able to come in, on and change here and there, but make better. I'm a mom of 5. I used to be a substitute teacher in my county, and I always loved kids. I believe that they kind of, meet you where you are, and they are the most honest individuals you will ever meet. I decided to go back to school, and because I have a humanities degree that I was not doing anything with, and I figured, hey, let me explore this love of children that I have. One evening, my professor had invited the former director, who met me that evening and told me I should come and work here. I came to visit. I got to know the kids, got to know the staff, and I absolutely loved it. I haven't left. It's been, I'm going into I think my 10th year in February. So it's been a love relationship, and my husband definitely reminds me on the evenings when I'm a little tired, because you leave it all here, you come and you leave exhausted. My husband reminds me that I pass a lot of children's centers on the way to this one, but I have to remind him that this one is the one that has my heart in the chokehold.
Downstairs, we do have two classrooms. The first classroom, we do have our toddler classroom, the 2 to 3 year old classroom. And the second one is the 3 to 4 year old classroom as well. Now, just because we want to be sure that, I know potty training is a big deal to a lot of parents and child care centers. We don't want to rush our children if they're not potty trained by the age of 3. We still want them to keep pushing and be academically prepared. So downstairs is for our younger 3 to 4 year olds that may not be as quite potty trained, but they'll get it eventually, definitely. So let me show you our first classroom. This is the Caterpillar classroom. All right, good morning. Here on the side, in addition to the ProCare app, we will have each child have their mailboxes. So, you just want to come in, see how your child ate for the day, how many times they've had diapers, or how if they're starting potty training, that information will be on the door. Once you come inside, we do have art here on the side. And as we know, our children, they may not be able to read, but we definitely want to make sure that they have a visual. So a lot of times we have visuals here to let them know what part of the day and what's going on. And sometimes we do have a quiet center. Now, we do not do any type of discipline, but we do acknowledge that children may just need a cool down time. So here we have our quiet center where they're able to come, express themselves. We have our social emotional wall. Just like adults, we need to, explain ourselves and express ourselves so that they can be good people during conversation and just in that social emotional piece that we were talking about earlier. Here we have our friends. These are all of our friends. We try to be as diverse as possible in our classrooms. Here we have the Science Center. Depending on the provocation for the week, right now they have seashells and different natural materials. We do encourage our parents, if they're on a nature walk, they can definitely come in and bring some things to add to our nature center. And each child is an individual, so I know sometimes just the transition, especially in the toddler classroom, it could be a little difficult to transition from home to school. So we do encourage parents to bring in family photos, so that way we can, they can see their families throughout the day. Sometimes if it's like a blanket or something, or a smell or scent, we encourage our parents to bring that in. Each child has their own individual cubby. Just an extra pair of clothes. And this classroom in particular, they do have pull-ups, so you guys can bring in pull-ups for the week. Our teachers are phenomenal. They will work with you if whatever's convenient. If it's pull-ups every day or, month to month, you just bring them in as needed. Each child has a backpack as well. And then they nap on the blue and red mats here. You can get that from Walmart or any place like that. And I'll definitely give you the link as needed. Here they have bookshelves here. We do have a library upstairs that they're able to rotate books out as well. Here at the top, you may see some toys that focus on their fine motor skills and their gross motor skills. The teachers often rotate these toys out every week or two, just to make sure that they're constantly learning and they're always developmentally prepared for the next topic. Here is where all the fun happens. This is the Dramatic Play Center here. A lot of times you may see them acting out like what they see at home, if it's mom cooking or dad working on the car. And even in this time with Alexa, sometimes they'll pretend to, Alexa, can you tell me how to make chicken noodle soup? So it's really fun to see them interacting in this section. Here they're able to express themselves and then also work on those social skills and, problem solving skills with each other as well. Here behind us, we do have a diaper changing table at this age group. And as you can see, also some self-independency. We have one friend that's washing her hands. We do wash our hands often throughout the day. Once they come in, we also have a well child check-in. So when they come in, we're checking their temperature, they're washing their hands, and then once we start that throughout the day, they're able to, be more independent and washing their hands. Here's the diaper changing table that little friends that are not quite potty trained, they will use this. And again, pull-ups are as need basis, and each child has their own individual box of pull-ups.
Hi, my name is Winnie Knupp, and I am the Development Director at St. James Children's Center. My work in development and early childhood has been sort of bubbling up on parallel tracks for a very long time. When I was, my initial career in Washington was as an editor for a national trade association. And at that point, as a young woman, I got pregnant and was going to have my first child, and still needed, of course, to have an income, but really thought I needed to change direction. So at that point, I became a licensed home daycare provider. And in that way, still had income for my family, but really knew that I had a love of young children. So I did that for many years. And then later, when we moved to Washington and my kids were all in school, I started a contract company, I guess you would call it, or a consulting company where I went back to writing and editing, and at this point wrote grant proposals for various nonprofits. And fast forward a few years from there, from my contract grant writing to, I came to a point where I needed a new full-time job, and a friend of mine, when I called her and said, "Hey, Michelle, I'm looking for a position," she said, "Well, that's so funny because I've been the interim development director at this really cool place I think you'd love. And I was supposed to replace myself 2 years ago. And now you have your job at St. James Children's Center." So that was 10 years ago, almost 10 years ago. I'm beginning my 10th year here. And I've loved it ever since.
Here is just like another bulletin board where we do like different art. As you can see, they're constantly learning. We have the numbers on the board as well. If it's one-on-one correlation, colors. So the teachers definitely take lots of what they're learning and put it up on the bulletin board. Here's just information for the parents, just like what we're having for meals. Just how much we're eating. So that way, like if we're having, let's just say pasta for lunch, you guys know maybe we shouldn't cook pasta at night. So just to always keep you in the loop with what we're eating, how much we're eating, and how well we're doing with that. And that concludes our Caterpillar class. So
my name is Danielle Trotter Robinson, and I am in the Caterpillars room, the Toddler 2 class, and I am a teacher at St. James Children's Center. It's more dedicated to the children and not just like a business. We are more family oriented. It feels so just inviting working here. I'm excited coming to work every day. Just because it's not just like we're not just trying to do this for the money. It's a passion everybody has that draw me here to want to be here. I'm like, I need this because like they're making so many differences in children's lives. The ratio is so small, so you can do more one-on-one with the kids, and they can get more attention and more the more their needs met. Wow, we just have more time to be patient with them and try to meet them at their need. One of the centers I was working at, the founder of the school was our mentor, and she just wanted us to see that there was a better way of doing early child care with the kids and the quality. So she gave us a tour of her center, and I just was like so amazed. I was blown away at just the way the ratio was, the way it seemed so family oriented. I was like, I have to be here. So I told her that I was interested, and she was like, well, whenever I get an opening, I'll contact you. So that's how I decided to just come aboard when she called.
With your child. All right, so the next classroom that we're going to come to, this is the Ladybug classroom. So this classroom is our 3 to 4 year old classroom. These are some of our friends that are not quite potty trained, but we don't want to hold them back developmentally. So we pass the torch to the next classroom. So you guys can come on in. Do you want to go cut? We'll go make some. Here now, each classroom you will see they do have a parent board with the same information. Some may be outside of the classroom and some may be in the inside. Here's just the daily schedule of the Ladybugs when they first come in. We do have morning greetings here on the carpet when they're having like morning provocations. We do have centers that they do explore in. We have five main centers. We have Dramatic Play Center, we have Science and Math Center. We also have a Library Center, Social Emotional Center, so that they're always taking little parts. Free play, we do offer meals. We do have lunch and breakfast and 2 snacks. That is included in the tuition as well. Now, if you like, another reason we do have the menu up is, if your child has any allergies or a food preference, that way you are able to bring in a lunchbox. The only thing, we're not able to refrigerate it, so just keep an ice pack inside. But we definitely will accommodate if your child doesn't eat pork or certain things. We'll make sure that the lunch menu follows up as well. This is just a protocol, just of like our expectations for our sick policy. If a fever over 101, any type of vomiting, any type of like hand, foot, and mouth or anything like that, you will have to be out for 24 hours. And if it's something that you have to be seen by the doctor, you'll just bring in a doctor's note as well. And another thing I did not touch on was our hours of operation. It's from 7 to 5:45 p.m. Now, we do welcome children from 7 to 9:30 a.m. After 9:30, we don't accept children unless, of course, it's a doctor's appointment, of course, just because it's so important that they don't miss out that meaty part of the day. They're learning, they're transitioning, and just to be consistent, we want our kids to learn that way as well. So after 9:30, we won't accept children, but like I said, with the doctor's note, you guys can come on in, okay? This is just a little daily health check, and anything that you're not too sure of, feel free to take a picture of. And this is like right now they're talking about fruits and vegetables. So here, it's always constantly learning. They're learning about different sizes, shapes, measurements. Here they also have like centers. So throughout the year they can say, hey, there are only 1 or 2 friends at this time. So that way they all have an opportunity to be in different centers as well. Okay. Here they have like different Legos where they're doing teamwork as well. Here's the visual chart, the same thing, because our kids are not quite reading. We want to make sure that they have that visual chart. I know a lot of times on transition, it's like, when is mommy and daddy coming back? So here they can say, hey, this is the morning circle. We know we have breakfast next. And then sometimes like we'll just count down like how many activities we have before it's time to go home. So a lot of times on the transitional part, we will bring our children here just so that they are aware of what part of the day it is. Another thing we're big on is social emotional skills as well, and problem solving. So a lot of classrooms you will see different, we call like this the social emotional wall. This is when they're learning to share and when they're learning to trade or say, please say stop and things of that sort. Also, we will accommodate if needed. We could create social stories for each child. I know that looks different. No, you're fine. That looks different in different areas. So if, we feel like, hey, we might need to do a little extra, whatever we need to do to make sure that they're understanding, we will do that. If it's social, individualized social stories, and also conferences. We do close down 5 weeks out of the year, but during that time, 2 days, we have parent-teacher conferences with our parents just to show you the details of what's going on in development, because like I said earlier, we are a partnership. We don't want to see anything that you guys may not be seeing at home. We want to make sure that you guys are aware of everything that's happening. So we will be closed just so that we can have that time to talk to you as well. Here, this is our quiet center. As you can see, we have one friend that's inside that's self-regulating, but we do have like different toys in there. We have fidget toys just because like we realize that they do need to like self-regulate. And when they're ready, they can just come on out. So this is a really fun classroom, 3 to 4 years old. They're learning constantly, they're exploring, they're learning those vocabulary and the conversational pieces. Our teachers are great assistants and mentors for them as well. So that concludes our Ladybug. Thank you so much, Ladybug.
Hi, my name is Najiri Abiyomi. I'm a teacher here at St. James Children's Center. I teach pre-K in the Crickets classroom. I'm a full-time auntie. I have my nephew since he was 2. I've dabbled into a lot of daycares that will just put on a show for like the whole entire time and not really engage with the kids, not really build bonds with the kids. I think that's what makes us a little bit different than other daycares or child care centers. We really focus on building bonds with the kids and also the family. We really focus on getting them ready for the next schooling level, focusing on that emotional behavioral development, focusing on the academics, and I think that's what sets us apart from other daycares, opposed to them just not really trying to build a relationship with the child.
Welcome our family board here. This is just, right now we're doing ASQs. Now, ASQs is like an assessment that we do twice a year. Just we're not doctors at all, but we just want to see like where their kid is socially, physically, logically, and then that way when we do have parent-teacher conferences, we can say, hey, this is what we're seeing. Maybe these are some goals that we can work on just to ensure that they are where they should be or what they could be. So we do have ASQs for our students. This week is the week. We also like to put up different resources for our families. If it's something about the library, anything that's happening within the city. And if you guys have any information in your community that we may not know about, feel free to share with me and we'll make sure that we post this here, okay? Also, we are super excited. We are level 4 quality, which we have really worked hard on. So we are super excited. Out of most child cares in Virginia, we are above average. Quality in Virginia is a program that most child care centers that are licensed will have to go through. So what it is our teachers they're trained on how to speak to our children, how to look for developmental qualities of our children and staff. And we do intensive training. So what that looks like is we have classroom observers to come in just to be sure that our teachers are doing what they're supposed to do, that our students are learning, and that takes up to a year. And so Virginia Quality is on a scale of 1 to 5, and we are level 4. So we're super close, and that is above average of most child care centers in Virginia. So we're super excited about that. Yes.
Hi, my name is Mary Stutz. I'm the curriculum specialist at St. James Children's Center. I have actually worked with children my entire life. I come from a family of 5 kids. Being the oldest daughter, I took care of my siblings a lot growing up. I also worked in my childhood church as a music teacher and an art teacher. Going into college, I actually went in for pre-nursing and changed my major to early education, and I didn't look back from there. So this has been a really fun opportunity. I wasn't thinking that this would ever happen growing up. I didn't see myself as a teacher or in education, but I'm really glad I made that change.
So upstairs, we have our older classrooms. We do have our 3 to 5-year-old classrooms. We do have 2 pre-K classrooms and our older 3 to 4-year-olds. So come on this way, I'll show you around. So we were super excited to be featured in Richmond Times-Dispatch, especially about the child care crisis. And what's been happening with the child care crisis, unfortunately, since the pandemic, we have noticed numbers have really dropped in child care. Parents are not able to afford child care like they once were. And even with the teachers, just having teachers to work and that, they have families at home as well. So we have noticed that the numbers have went down dramatically. How St. James is trying to do our part as far as the child care crisis is offering child care to those families if it's a scholarship. So we'll offer scholarships to families. If it's on the sliding scale, I'm also accepting DSS childcare subsidy as well. So we try to bridge together, our working families and our non-working families to make sure that we provide education and childcare for children that are not able to afford it.
The Children's Center is an intentionally diverse community, and so that means that we balance and include children of all socioeconomic backgrounds, as well as including racial diversity and developmental diversity. So in our budget each year, about 25% of our students are from higher income families that pay full tuition. And the other 75% of our kids receive large tuition discounts. So that's where my funding comes in. It is about, each year our budget skirts about $1 million, and a quarter of that comes from tuition and fees, and the other 75% of that comes from development money. So in raising the money, we are able to provide really quality early childhood education to children who otherwise wouldn't have this opportunity. And that is our true mission. And it's also our mission to be this inclusive community so that everyone can live in the world that we really wish to bring about and experience the fullness of that inclusive world.
All right, so here we have our documentation wall. Like downstairs, you saw a lot of pictures and the process. Here, our older kids are actually speaking more and having those conversations. So we have a lot of Q&A. As you can see, this is, they were talking about clouds and what clouds feel like. And you can see the pictures and the process of them making clouds and rain clouds. The same here, they're doing rainbow fun. So it looks like they're just coloring and having fun, but they're learning about colors. They're learning about different sizes and how everything is not the same, and they're just being self-expression in that way as well. Alligator observations, how long is the alligator? So the teachers ask a lot of open-ended questions. They're learning a lot. They're using rulers, they're using measuring tape here so they can see their outlook of how long the alligator is. So that's more so in the evening, like I said, along with ProCare and the communication sheets, we do encourage our parents to look at the documentation boards to see what's going on, what's happening. They're doing investigations, processing, and a lot of times the fun does not happen inside of the classroom. Sometimes they'll go outside. Like here, they're creating like the butterfly exhibit here. So in the back, we have a playground connected to our school, but we also have a sensory garden as well. So a lot of times they would take their investigations out to the sensory garden. And we're so excited about just being in the fan area, being downtown. We're able to explore our neighborhood. They're seeing mailboxes, they're seeing neighbors and dogs and schools and school buses. So any opportunity that we have, we definitely bring the classroom outside as well. So this is the documentation wall. And just like downstairs, you'll get to meet the teachers in each classroom, and we are happy to have interns at our school as well. Crystal Ray is a local Catholic high school that we have interns, and it's just like a full circle. We want to make sure that we are pouring into our bigger kids as well. So they're coming, they're learning work ethics, they're learning how to conversate with the little ones and being on time and being respectful and how to ask those questions. So then when they're ready to go to college and be in the real world, they're prepared as well. So not only are we pouring into the little ones, the teenagers as well.
So we work with the creative curriculum, and that focuses on learning through play. We also focus a lot on social emotional. So, while children are like playing with blocks, the teachers are really just there to facilitate their learning and jump in to ask open-ended questions. asking them, if it looks like we have a problem, how can we figure this out? How can we solve this problem? And really having it be child-led so that they can figure out, okay, what is it that I need to do? I'm not always going to have somebody there to help me, and just take them through that process of being able to figure things out on their own. I would say our environment here, we have a wonderful group of teachers. It's very loving. We really care about our students, our teachers, our families. We definitely go out of the way to accommodate needs and support everyone across the board. We also are a quality 4 level rating school, so that's a quality environment, and they also rated us on teacher-child interactions. We also do our ASQ assessments, so that's seeing where children are developmentally, where their strengths are, and how can we support their growth.
Now, this is one of our pre-K classrooms. This is the last classroom before headed to kindergarten. They have the same domains as downstairs, but of course it's a little more structured, okay? So we can come on in and see. So this here, downstairs, we do have like our provocation center. This is where all the fun happens, circle time. Each classroom will have a visual chart. We do have a clock, and our kids are super excited because I don't know if I shared with you guys downstairs, but they all have jobs to promote independency. So we'll have calendar helper, line leader, teacher's helper, caboose, store helper, weather helper, plant helper, and those jobs are rotated just to keep building on that independency as well. Of course, since we're in pre-K, it's a little more structured. They're doing numbers, and they're filling in the numbers, and they're counting. They're talking about fall, and of course, 1 through 100. This is our quiet center. Again, just making sure that they have that self-regulation as well. Here in the older classroom, they have like CD players just to make sure that they're calm. They can listen to audio stories. They have teddy bears there as well. This classroom has a pet. That's one of our helpers as well. So they take care of their little pet fish here, and they take turns. Some classrooms may have fish. I know we've had like hamsters here a few times as well. We're really big on team building and one-on-one. So while one teacher is walking around, making sure that that each child is learning and just building on what they're working on. We also do lots of documentation from our tablets. So that way, when you see the pictures come on ProCare, you can see what's happening. So that's why it's important to have both teachers here. Here, this is self-play here, self-learn. So the artwork, they're doing art. We have different means of art. It's pencils, colored pencils. They're able to either write their name, and then they also have like little name charts here that they can put the name on their paper as well. So, and just each child also has like an individual box here. So they're provided with scissors, markers, just to make sure that, we want to stay safe and healthy, especially during this time of the year as well. Here is the social emotional part. Hi, friends. They're cooking, they're learning. Again, they're taking a lot of that, what they're learning at home, they're bringing it here at school. They're learning to socialize with each other, how to problem solve, and also just independency awareness. So afterwards, they're cleaning up, they're putting things back in the bins. And just a few things, that's right. And it's always space for learning. We have the alphabet chart up there. So during quiet time, they're able to look up and see the letters. A lot of times the teachers are reading stories one-on-one to the children during lunchtime and mealtime. Here is the block center where lots of fun happens. They have community helpers here, farm as well. They're learning math. If it's stacking, they're talking about height and measurements here as well. Up here you see lots of different self-portraits. They're learning name building, letter building as well, and just how they perceive themselves. So this is like the first self-portraits of the year. They're talking about leaves. So As you can see, the little leaf portrait that they're working on, they're real creative. And we don't expect any artwork to look alike. We want them all to be individualized and unique to that particular child. Also, each classroom, they all do the same thing. And behind the cabinets, that's where they have like bingo. They have different literacy that they're preparing for. We do vowels testing, which is a part of Virginia testing, just to ensure that our students are prepared for kindergarten. We do that test 3 times throughout the year. And then during parent-teacher conferences, that's when we're sharing the scores and coming up with common goals to make sure that they're prepared for the next step. So that's our pre-K classroom, and we can go to the next one. Good morning. Hello, crickets. Oh, it's a little 3D art there. All right. So here, this thing, each child have their own individual cubby. And sometimes, like the sensory classroom that I shared with earlier, that's just some of the materials that may go downstairs if it's hula hoops, so that they can work on team building. This is their quiet center in this particular classroom. I love the way they have it set up. They can do different letters, so they also incorporated learning while they're having a cool down time. So they're finding letters. Sometimes they'll spell out their names. We have fidget toys here. Here's a part of the Let's Calm Down. Sometimes we do the 1, 2, 3, breathe in, breathe out, so that they're prepared for the day. Also, this is a visual chart of like independent jobs throughout the week. They have like pictures on each one, so they'll know whose turn it is. And then we can walk around here. This is the science center here in the crickets classroom. The same thing, we do lots of natural materials as well. If it's measurements and weights, they're learning about that, and different color blocks there. Wow. They're learning fine motor skills, so they're stringing. Here they're doing lots of stringing, wrapping, building with the Tinker toys. The same thing again, we're constantly rotating, so we feel like, hey, they got this down packed, they've mastered this. We're gonna keep challenging them and just pulling out more material so they can keep working on that.
Hi, my name is John A. Battle, and I work in the crickets classroom, grade pre-K, and I also work at St. James Children's Center. I got started in education when I was 17 years old, and it was first working at a children's center just like this one. And I first started out at the summer program, and I started working with toddlers. So it was really fun for me, really energetic, and I knew from there on, I just love the energy that kids give off. It gives more family than like a workplace. I mean, it kind of combines both of the things at the same time, so it definitely gives off like family, but work and fun. So I would definitely say that it's a trustworthy place. I know that now with child centers, it could be a little nerve-wracking, especially as it changes over the years, but you definitely don't have to have that concern, because at the front door, as soon as you come, you're welcomed by excitement, hugs, and just reassurance. And I think that's for the parent, the child, and it's very authentic. It gives off like it's not an automated system where like you're talking to a robot. It's a person one-on-one. We have most moms here, so they definitely understand where you're coming from, so it's very comforting.
Here's the sand and water table as well, the same. They have the magic sand is here as well, so they're doing different textures. We are aware that most kids don't like different textures, so we try to incorporate if it's sand or just crepe paper, whatever that they feel comfortable with as well. Again, as you see, we have 2 teachers in each classroom. One teacher is working her way around, making sure that they're on that child's level. While another teacher is doing one-on-one, or maybe like a small group, depending on the provocation. It seems like here they're working on different rock art. So this is typically the library center. But if we need to do small activities or just accommodate what we're learning throughout the day, we are aware to change our environment based on the needs of the child. And that concludes our cricket classroom. All right. So this is the grasshopper classroom. The grasshopper classroom is our older 3 to 4 year olds. They do have a mailbox outside of their classroom, and they also give tips and resources for our parents as well. I know sometimes, like especially with first-time parents, like, hey, where should my child be? Are they learning enough? Or maybe I need to do a little bit more. So in addition to giving those trainings downstairs, the teachers do a fabulous job just giving extra resources as well. And we like to tell our parents, hey, if there's something that you don't see or you're concerned about, just definitely reach out and we will find the resources as needed. Here, this is their documentation wall. More open-ended questions as well. A lot of times they're talking about feelings and how am I feeling? Why do I feel that way? Of course, we know they're going to get the academics, they're going to get the counting, they're going to get the numbers and the literacy part, but we want them to to acknowledge their feelings and how they are as their own individual person. Here, this is a little bit more about our creative curriculum that just shows like the different domains that we are looking for if it's social, emotional, physical, cognitive, and their language development. So this is just like another resource guide for our parents to see where they should be. This is also down below. This is like self-management, responsible decision-making, self-awareness, relationship skills, and social awareness. Here, this is, like I said, we're really big on social emotional. So this is how I'm feeling. This is what I need. Sometimes we'll do like those type of like social emotional charts as well. And they're really big on yoga. We don't do, like I mentioned earlier, a lot of screen time. But yoga, that's when we're like counting, taking those deep breaths. Sometimes we may need to stretch out a little bit. So we actually, each child in this classroom has like little yoga mats so they can partake in yoga as well. This is the block center here, kids at work. And also this is another way of how they count how many friends can come in the center so that it's not overcrowded. So we have that here for our children, different blocks, transportation, and of course throughout the year, depending on the provocation, they'll utilize the toys and, pull them out accordingly.
I will tell you, my staff is amazing. I think I have the best staff in Richmond. I have the best staff in the world. I think these ladies come to work every day. They just put it all out there. They I don't know. Life has been lifing for a lot of people, and it's difficult to leave it at the door, but our teachers have managed to do their best interpretation of leaving it at the door. They come in, they see the kids, the kids bring you so much joy, so that anything outside of work, it becomes secondary and you don't even focus on it. You focus on the children. The children, they demand that with those beautiful eyes and those bright smiles and those wonderful questions. And you want to make sure that they are having the best possible experience they can have. And as a professional, that's what our teachers do. They give our young people the best possible experience, filled with opportunities to learn and to explore. And it's I don't know, I think we learn something in the process, and it keeps us, dare I say, keeps us young, dare I say, keeps us hungry for the next adventure, because there's never a dull moment at the Children's Center. No 2 days are the same. It is always something new. You always learn something and leave better than you came. One of the magical things about the Children's Center, to me, is that once you join us, once you have decided that, hey, this is where you want your children to, spend those just vitally important birth to 5 years, you become part of our family. We greet you, we get to know you, you get to know us. You are part of our family, and we treat you as such. So I think the best thing about being a children's center parent is that you, in my mind, hopefully know that we fight for your children to get the best opportunity to have a wonderful early learning experience. If there's a resource that we have access to or that we know about, we're sharing those resources. We are making sure that you are as prepared as you can possibly be with our help to move to the next step. So we, I don't know, I love the fact that we know our parents, we know when our parents need a little extra hello in the hello. We know when our parents need a hug. They know when we need a hug. It's, I think it's a wonderful place to be. It's when my children were young, if the Children's Center existed, I'd love to say I would have found it. And I wouldn't have let my children go anywhere else. It would have to have been the Children's Center.
Thank you so much for visiting the Children's Center. I hope you enjoyed it, and I really appreciate you taking time to come and find out about our Diamond in the Rough. Again, my name is Bridget Lately. I'm the program manager. You can send me an email if you like. It's blaidley@stjchildrenscenter.org. Feel free to look us up on Facebook at St. James Children's Center or on Instagram at St. James Children's Center. Thank you so much, and come back and visit us. Bye.
Well, everyone, that brings us to the end of our show. If you liked what you heard and you enjoyed our conversation, make sure that you're following us on YouTube, but also hit that like button so we know what you are enjoying. You can also find us on other podcast platforms like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts if you want to listen to our audio version as well. To get more behind the scenes stuff, make sure that you're following us on our social media accounts, Instagram and Facebook at School After Hours. Well, that's all I have for today. In the words of Mr. Arthur Ashe, start where you are, use what you have, do what you can. Until next time, y'all. Bye-bye.